Hello, everyone. Our first session in English from Internal Coaching Stream. We're back with Roxana Serban
Hello.
Fabulescu, who is our StreamYard host. And we are very happy to welcome today Eduard Lopez, who's with us today, and who you're going to hear very well in a second, but you might not see that well because, technology sometimes it's just funny that way.
Indeed,
Hi,
indeed.
Eduard.
Hi, hello. Hopefully we will hear each other well.
Yes,
Perfect sound.
yes, exactly. So there's absolutely no problem with the sound, but it seems that the camera is just coming in waves. And to refer to what I was saying earlier, that sometimes life takes us to places that we do not expect, and we have the choice to ride the wave. So that's what we're doing now. This is what delayed a little bit. So we won't let a camera to delay our conversation on live and live. And we're really happy to be back on this topic and continue our journey with the internal coaching, I think, after a year or so. And today we are exploring, we're continuing a theme that we have started last year, which is to see different aspects of coaching, coaching skills, coaching mindset that can be used in an organization, but not necessarily by the people who hold the role of internal coaches or people from HR. And we have come across Eduard, who has such a powerful and interesting story. Not only that he moved from Spain to Romania, but he actually changed his career from being an engineer to a coach. And we want to explore some of the things. But before we start doing that, Roxana has accustomed you
I have my
question.
magical question. It's a connection question that I would like to ask to everyone here. And you know what? It's February, it's the month of love. So the connection question for all of you today is if love would become a shape, a form, an object, an animal, a plant, whatever, what would that shape be for yourselves?
I will start. And for me, the shape would be a giraffe.
Ooh,
And why a giraffe? Because when you say that, it reminded me of a metaphor used in nonviolent communication, which is about compassion, so about love. And the giraffe is the animal with the biggest heart out of the animal kingdom. And it's a very good representation of love for me. So yeah, that's what I thought.
you know what? Now that you said about the giraffe, I remember the safari I have been into in January in Tanzania. And by the way, the giraffes were by far the most wonderful and friendly creatures there. They were just, posing for the photos and coming close to us. And it was, yeah, I totally relate to the giraffe. So, now,
Wonderful memories.
who wants to take the lead or answer the question next?
Eduard?
You want me to continue? Yes, sure. I think I would choose the face of a child.
Oh,
That would be the form because of the expression of the innocence and the vulnerability that we don't usually see that when after we grow up a little bit more. So that would be for me a very good representation of love.
pure love, right?
Great. Christina is with us on LinkedIn and she said bright yellow sun.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
I am in Sinai and I was to ski, so I'm thinking to Panda.
Panda. Okay. Nice.
And for you, Roxana?
I was thinking, actually, I'm thinking of a unicorn. That magical, wonderful, amazing creature that inspires and everyone is searching for. And maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, so I would take the unicorn. Wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate this connection moment. It was so pleasant to see love through your eyes in a different form.
Well, thank you. Always your questions send us usually towards within, and that's very interesting. And it's a useful technique for any of us who wants to, well, bring something or spice it up in a relationship, formal or informal. And before we jump into the conversation today, I wanted to maybe take 1 minute to remind us that last time we had a conversation, we had two guests. We had Raluca Roeti and Andrei Mihaescu, yes. And they give us the perspective from to be a manager as a coach and a coach as a manager. And they brought some very powerful insights, a great way to end 2021 on internal coaching. And of course, I'm going to invite everyone who is curious to learn about the insights to visit the page of the Coaching and Mentoring Festival, where you can find the recording as well. But we are going to continue today the journey, as we said, with Eduard. And Eduard, thank you so much for giving us your time. And I guess the first question to ask is to, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from, Spain to Romania.
Thank you very much, Alina. Well, my journey from Spain to Romania, I will try to summarize a little bit, because if I explain all the journey, we can be here for a few hours. So basically, I started after my university studies. I started working for IBM as a junior engineer. And I joined IBM in Spain, and after the years, I was all the time looking for some possibility of getting an international assignment. I was very, very interested and curious about meeting other culture, meeting other people, different ways of doing things. And that opportunity took a little bit to come. But when it came, I got first an opportunity to be in the Czech Republic. So I spent initially 2 years in Czech Republic, managing a team, a manufacturing operations team for electronic manufacturing in the Czech Republic. And at some point in time, they asked me if I would be interested in moving to Romania, because the operation was going to be moved from the Czech Republic to Romania. So I said, yes, I want. And I landed in Oradea. That was 2008, where my initial agreement was to be in Oradea for 1 year. And I ended up working for that company 7 years. And now I'm in Oradea more than 10 years. So that was kind of a short summary why I landed in Romania. And but by this time, all my professional career was developed in multinational environments. I became responsible for different business units and areas of responsibility in different companies. And at some point in time, I realized that what I really loved is working with teams. So despite I have an engineering background, the real joy that I got out of what I was doing was working with people, working with teams, developing individuals, achieving results together as a team, and getting the recognition from our customers. That was our main purpose. And at the end of those years, the world of coaching crossed my world, and I realized that I was doing that coaching style or coaching type of approach unconsciously. I didn't have any education on coaching. I didn't know what coaching was, and so I got interested, and I started learning about coaching. And after a couple of years, I decided to move from the company I was working for, and I created my own company, and I'm now coaching and consulting privately to different companies and organizations. So that is, let's say, a quick summary, the shortest I could make to bring us in context why I'm now in Oradea and what I'm doing.
Well, thank you, Eduard. I think it's great to start with a helicopter view of the journey, because of course we are interested to learn a little bit more insights and more details about it, as a way to maybe meet other people that are currently in organizations and they love working with people. You know, you already mentioned some ingredients: love working with people, love developing others, developing themselves, and maybe they just are natural communicators and feel natural and at home in a coaching mindset and a coaching approach in curiosity. And I guess all of these things I would love to explore with you a little bit more in detail. And the next question to ask would be, if you look back, because it didn't happen overnight, right? This transition. So when did you know that, where did it started, with the coaching? Because I suspect it was more informally. So what would you do informally, in terms of coaching? And when did you first feel, actually, I wanna do more of this?
Mm-hmm. Well, as you said, this didn't come overnight, and I would say that there were two moments where I realized about that process and what I really liked, that was working with people. The first process was, the first instance was when I moved from Spain to the Czech Republic. Was the first time that I was working with a different culture. And also what I was doing this, I was not only moving from one country to another, but I was also moving from managing one type of activity in the company to a different type of activity. So this change was, let's say, happening at the same time, two different changes at the same time. And this I had to prove to myself, although we know that, let's say, with everything that we read and we learn, I proved to myself that you don't need an expert on what you do to achieve very good results with people. So this was the first not revelation, but the first time that I became aware that yes, why we have to be experts on something to achieve results. We are dealing with people, and people in any culture are people with desires, are people with values, with beliefs, with motivations, and this is what I realized at the first time. Then, as I moved along, this became more and more evident, in the sense that any new challenge, the results of that challenge was the results of the team, was the results of people working together, and the ability of the manager or leader to manage properly the situation to make their team perform. Is not that we face many challenges. Every company, every individual is facing constantly challenges from our customers, from internally, from our environment, from all the stakeholders. But in those challenges, there are many situations where the managers and leaders blame circumstances, blame the economy, blame the market, blame the millennials that just joined the company and they are different than the rest, blame everything. The reality is that the way to achieve results are based on the ability of the manager to combine the resources that it has on his or her hands and to achieve results with the resources they have. And this was kind of an awareness after different challenges that we went through, and I said the best the best prepared we are to deal and to lead our teams, the best results we are going to get. And here is when I started realizing the power of coaching to prepare managers and leaders to be at their best to achieve the best results with their teams. I would say these were the two milestones that, or the two situations that made me realize that no matter how expert you are, how good expert you are, if you don't have the ability to manage your team properly, results will not come.
And that's great. And I was just thinking while you were talking about all these challenges that the teams and leaders are facing and how coaching supports. I was wondering, how about your own challenges along this journey with the change that you did and moving from such an engineering role to coaching and all this, because we know that normally any change brings a lot of challenges that in the end help us grow, of course. So I'm wondering what those challenges were for you and helped you shape the one you are today.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, definitely. There are constant challenges, and this is what is shaping our ability to respond and to learn. I would say that for many years, the challenges, I try to handle them myself by trial and error, trying to copy what I saw in my environment, trying to learn from more senior people how they were doing. But this is not. I came to realize that this is not the process, despite most of the companies use that process even today. This was not the ideal process, and this was because I would say some number of years ago, the activity or the concept of coaching was not so widespread as it is today. So basically, when I started my career, there was no coaching at all. Nobody thought or spoke about coaching at the workplace, only in sports, but not at the workplace. So as I moved in my career, and especially as you mentioned at the end when I made the transition, as soon as I could, I started working with a coach myself. And this brings the biggest advantage, because you start experiencing yourself about what is working with a coach and what a coach can do for you. Because we can be here, we can speak here for hours, and to somebody who will listen to us, they will say, it's interesting, but you don't get to grasp the idea. You don't understand until you really experience that. And then you see how in 6 months you are able to progress much more than in the previous 7 years, just because you are working with somebody who is helping you with that approach, with a coaching approach.
Yes, I love this trial and error thing. I also believe that it's the best approach in life in general. So not to be afraid to try things, even if, make mistakes, and learn out of that and grow. And in the end, became a better self and a better shape as a professional. I was wondering also, you mentioned a lot about what do you love being a coach. You said about loving to work with people, to grow people, and I will not summarize again because you already said so much about this. I'm curious, how about the coaching process in itself? What do you like about the coaching process?
Well, the coaching process is, I like that it is unique. It is unique for some, despite that there are some standard approach that you have to have in mind how the coaching process should start and should continue and should end. But the experience, you cannot tell in advance. So what I like is that you discover, and you are surprised, oftentimes you are surprised about what happens during the coaching process that you were not able to anticipate. And this is the marvelous thing that if I can say that way, about this process. Because in any other process, if you take training, for example, you know what you are going to train at the beginning of the training. You have the agenda, you deliver the training, and you know when you start, when you finish, what you will do, and that's it. In the coaching, well, you can know the time. If you say that we coach for 1 hour, is 1 hour, but what happens in that hour is totally unpredictable, and this is what I like about the process.
Yeah, I resonate with that. I call it the structure of the unexpected flow. I don't know if it makes sense, but something like that.
Exactly.
I was curious, Eduard, what were some of the first things that you have used as an informal coach, because we know that some things speak more to us. You said that you were working with a coach, so I suspect that you brought some of those skills into your workplace. And I'm curious, how did you practice coaching before being a coach?
Well, this is, I would say, this was unconsciously coaching, right? Or coaching unconsciously.
Informal. Let's put it informal. It was conscious, but it wasn't intentional, maybe. But
yeah, maybe yes. There is we can use different words. The idea is, if you want to achieve results with your team, there are several ways, right? One of the ways that many leaders or managers follow is this directive way, where I am the expert, I have the power, I tell everybody what to do. You don't have too much freedom to confront my ideas. I know better than you, and you do. And if you don't do, you may lose your job with this company. And this situation, unfortunately, is very, very common still these days. So this was not resonating with my approach. Never. Even though I'm talking now about the 1990s, when I started my career, beginning of 1990s. It was considered more by that time that a real leader should be that aggressive type of person, vocal, that was driving everything himself, and everybody else was following without too much options to confront him. That never resonated with me. And at the beginning, I thought something is wrong with me. If I don't do this, I cannot lead teams because this is not aligned with my personality, and I have to fake. If I want to succeed as a leader, I have to fake that type of personality. And this is not the reality, right? So the sustainable results or level of results that we want to achieve with our teams has to be achieved in different ways. So what I started doing is something that resonated more by that time, and that's why I'm saying that was unconsciously done, because I had no idea by that time of so much idea about what I'm talking today. And so I started listening more. I started showing my vulnerability, saying, I'm not an expert here. You are the ones who are experts. What do you propose? That type of approach, right? I was giving feedback, honest, for them to improve on what they were doing. I was trying to motivate in any interaction and providing positive energy more than removing the energy and bringing fear to the interactions. So I was doing all these things, let's say, because I thought was the right thing to do, and started paying off. I was feeling more comfortable because I was myself in this process, and the response and the results from my teams are or were much more positive, and we created a very good bonds and relationships. So eventually I learned that this is the sustainable right way to do that. And so I tried to improve the way I was doing, but initially was unconscious, was kind of following my own personal approach, what was more comfortable for me, that at the end proved to be the way of doing it on a sustainable way.
Well, thank you very much. And then now if we reverse a bit the table, of the perspective, and we shift it, I guess the next question that come to my mind was, well, how does your previous experience and engineer background support your coaching role? What are you bringing out of that? What did you took with you?
There is a very good question that I got from time to time, and because the common understanding or perception is that engineering coaching are not matching very well. An engineer is a person who is focused on problem solving, and coach, you are not solving problems, you are helping somebody else to change, but you are not fixing any problem. An engineer is a person who likes certainty and who like to be precise, and coaching is everything except certainty. You have to dance with the uncertainty in every situation. So there is not a clear relationship that I could trust on my background, engineering mindset or background, to improve my coaching. The only thing that I thought that it helped me is the persistence, persistence to keep trying and improving, and this is a quality that everybody in whatever they do should be applied, because we are not good at everything, especially if we transition from one situation to another. We are not good at that, but we have to show persistence and humility to make mistakes and to come back, and to learn from the process. I think this is the how I would say the biggest advantage that I brought from my background into the new coaching environment.
I'm wondering, something came to mind when you were saying that. How about curiosity and an inquisitive mind? Because usually engineers, they're science people, right? So they ask questions, and that's what takes them in different journey. And they go with an open mind, with curiosity, because they don't know what they're going to find, right? They just ask the question. So I'm just wondering, was this something that applied to you?
No, definitely. There are more things that are common in the coaching environment that you can bring, and as you say very well, curiosity is one of them. Maybe also it helped me also that approach of being curious and trying to understand things. But the curiosity is different in the way, in the sense that the curiosity from an engineer is different from the curiosity that you can show in a coaching relationship, right? But yes, at the end is curiosity. After all, is curiosity.
Thanks.
Hearing you say so many things about those great qualities that actually a coach possesses, and you have definitely, I was wondering, how about the best experience you had in your coaching role, or in this being a coach role? Either an achievement that you had and you said, wow, that's something that, where coaching made a difference, or something that happened to you inside yourself that was a great experience.
Well, there has been, as with everything, right, good and bad experiences. I would say in the coaching, since you are dealing with people, the good experience is brought by the people itself. So for me, the very good experiences that I got is when you are working with somebody and that somebody really plays full out, really wants to work on himself, really wants to make the efforts, to take the challenges, to have the courage to make some moves that sometimes we are not sure about what the result will be. And at the end, you see a huge results for that person. These are the things that made me love this type of activity. That you see the impact that you can make with people in situations where they don't believe that they can do something, and after a short period of time, they realize that they did it. And the results are there, and the joy that they show is what make you feel amazing. On the other side, the worst. There are also other worst, I would say, bad situations, and it's the opposite. Is when you face with somebody who is not willing really to be open and to make any effort at all. I was recently working with a couple of managers who you feel that they are not interested. They cancel many sessions. They don't do what they committed to do. They don't want to be accountable for anything. And of course, at the end of a period of time, they don't show any results, and they disengage. So these are the situations where I really don't enjoy. But the good ones are with people who really want to make the difference.
Yes, indeed. I was just, how to say, playing the video of my coaching experience, and I totally resonate with you. And usually, in the beginning, when I was a beginner coach, I felt that need and drive to make that people be aware that it's important for them to play full out. That was the person who wanted to be like, I don't know, a real impact change maker in people's life. But in the end, the beauty in this coaching process is that you get to understand that the journey belongs, you're a partner in the person's journey. And if that person's play falls out, then for sure that journey will be exciting and amazing and with unexpected results and all that. But in the same time, when you have challenges with people who don't want to be there, I address them immediately and I say, hey, I noticed that. So I'm more straightforward now, but when I was a beginner, I was just reminding me how pushy I was, and I want to really make the work for them if possible. So that was some of the beginners' mistakes as a coach,
Yes, definitely.
That reminded me of that. Yeah.
Well, I was wondering, by this time, Vlad was patiently listening to us, and I was curious if there is any questions that he would like to ask Eduard, considering our topic and the fact that the focus is on highlighting this transition, and how could anyone in an organization come about to either learn more about coaching, practice more coaching, or even take this path?
Oh, actually, I have a lot of question in my mind hearing you. I'm not sure which one to prompt.
Pick one.
I think the first question. I think the first question was about the emergence in the coaching process, and how easy it is for an engineer to get along with this emergence, this way of happening things without knowing what is going on, and if is also from the Eduard personality something that it's helping him going further with the process, or is something from his engineer mind that is helping him to manage the process?
Mhm. No, I don't think from this point of view has nothing to do. I think it's a process to be able to for you to be able to allow that emerging process to happen, and if you don't allow the emerging process to happen, doesn't matter if you're an engineer, lawyer, or a psychologist in this case, right? So you have to learn the process, and as with everything is a process, and you have to practice it, and you have to put all the variables available to you for that to happen. I don't think it has nothing to do with engineering background.
Well, thanks. That was quite interesting to look at that from that perspective. And I guess, Vlad, is that answering your question? Because there were actually two questions there.
Yeah, is my kind of asking questions to put more on the same time. No, it was what I expected to get as an answer. Thank you, Eduard.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I noticed in the chat some question from Christina.
There was one.
I would be curious also to know what is it that you need to create around you to enhance the awareness that you are better positioned in the coaching field.
Let me check. I would be curious also to know what you need to create around you to enhance the awareness that you are better positioned in the coaching field. I would like Christina to elaborate a little bit better the question. What I need to create around me.
Maybe we can leave Christina. Maybe she wants to enhance it a bit. We still have a lot of questions to ask to you, so don't worry.
No, I think you have to be willing to explore and to experiment. So this is something that like with everything we do. In many situations, especially from the world where I'm coming, you see many managers or leaders who they think they know everything, and they are not open to say, I don't know that. Please help me on that part. This is something that many people take as I don't know, something to be ashamed of. No, you don't show your authority if you say I don't know, right? So when you are trying to develop your skills, you have to be flexible and open to learn and to practice, knowing that many times you are going to fail. And but this is the only process that I know. So you practice, you fail, and then you know why you fail, and you try again. I would say that this is what the type of mindset that will help you to get better at what you do. Without that, I don't know. I know, Christina, if this answered the question, or or you meant something different?
Well, we hope she's coming back in the chat, and we thank her for her question. And looking also a little bit at the time, I think I wanted to invite you to maybe share with anyone that it's in an organization and maybe was touched in some way by coaching, finds it interesting, but and we would like to step into this type of role, as a coach, maybe considering a change of career. What would be 3 to 5 tips that you would like to give to somebody? What should they pay attention? What should they consider? What questions should they ask themselves before going there?
Mm-hmm. I would start by what I just commented before, to be open to experiment, not thinking that they know everything, even if they have, I don't know, huge experience, or they have master degrees or PhDs or whatever thing that would give them some authority in their field. They are doing something new, and when you start coaching others, doesn't matter. Honestly, doesn't matter which titles do you have. It's a conversation with somebody that you are going to try to help, right? So you need to be open to experiment things. Sometimes you will be comfortable with yourself. Sometimes you will see that you can do much better. But if you don't have that mindset, you cannot progress on that. Another one would be maybe related to this is to be open to receive feedback. Like anybody who is perfecting any activity, like sports or actors or singers or whatever activity, somebody who wants to increase his or her performance, you have to be willing to accept feedback. And there is another barrier that I have seen. Many people take feedback as a criticism, and they kind of avoid situations where somebody will give them feedback. By doing that way, you cannot observe yourself, and you cannot see how you can improve. Another one is, I would say, to be comfortable with not knowing what is going to happen. What we commented before in the coaching session, you don't need to know. You will not know everything. So if you are comfortable that you don't know, and that will bring you at a much faster pace to where you want to be, more than trying to control what's going to happen, trying to control the conversation, trying to control the results. So be comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen. This is also working with themselves. I'm not talking now here about the skills. For sure, you will need to develop skills like improve your communication skills, improve your listening skills. These need to be developed. But if you don't come with a proper mindset, and you don't come with the proper humility, vulnerability, you will not be able to learn in that process. And one important thing that probably that's what brought me at the beginning when I said I was doing that unconsciously. One of the things is to have the purpose of helping the person that you have in front of you. Is not about everybody to say how good you are or how experienced and you are an amazing person. Is facing any conversation with the idea is how I can help that person. Because if you don't want to help other people, you only focus on you, you will not move in this coaching environment. And many people face the conversations or the relationships in the way that thinking what I can get from that relationship, which advantage I can get. while you have to think the opposite is how can I help the person in front of me? And I would say that these are the main things. And if I mention these are because are part of your personality that you have to change, part of you that you have to change. It's not that you learn a technique or you learn some strategy or you learn powerful questions. I have seen people memorizing powerful questions. This is not making you a good coach. It's just showing off that you know what to say in one specific moment and trying to impress the other person. But if you don't approach with this humility and openness to experiment, to receive feedback, and to focus on the other person to help them, it's very difficult that you can move in this direction.
Now, while you were talking, I was thinking that everything that you mentioned here, I see it also as part of the cultures we are part of, because the way you grow, the type of mindset you have, the way you see the world, sometimes it's highly influenced and shaped also by the culture you are, growing up into, and then, of course, the cultures you encounter along your journey. And I was wondering, because you are a Spanish who moved to Czech and then to Romania, and then you work with so many type of cultures and people of different cultures. And how do you see this cultural aspect influencing the coaching experience?
This is a very, very interesting question, and I have been, as you say, involved in different situations where the culture plays a big role on what's going on around, right? I have seen that culture has much more impact when you work with groups. When you are you're an internal coach or manager and you have your team, or you are doing a team coaching in some organization. In this moment, when culture is about interaction with people and how they, which rules they put in place to interact among themselves. And here I really have seen the difference. A culture where that maybe if we compare in Europe, I don't want to mention any country, Northern Europe and Southern Europe, Northern Europe more open, respectful, people having more freedom to speak without consequences. We people from the South are more reserved. We don't want to really show in public our feelings or our honest opinion, and we prefer to make some comment rather than be open on what we really think about some situation. Especially if there is some authority in the room, if there is a manager or a senior person, that definitely stops any freedom. Well, while other cultures, they are not so much concerned about that. So I have seen that the culture impact very much the team dynamics, team coaching or any team group dynamics. When working one-on-one, I have seen less impact. You are in front of you. You have a person who has some challenges, who wants to work on those challenges, who has a set of beliefs, values, experience, ways, perspectives, and this is common to everybody. All of us, no matter the culture, we have our beliefs, we have our values, our vision, our purpose. And I have seen the cultural impact being much less when working one-on-one than when working with groups.
I find that a great insight, Eduard. And I was smiling, while I was listening to the northern countries, the southern countries. I felt like, me being a Romanian in Netherlands, so who moved from the eastern part of the Europe and the West. There's some things that we can discuss from the cultural point of view. And actually, I think this raises a ball for us, as we would like to invite you to join us in a following conversation, which is going to be more about intercultural sensitivity and about cultural differences and what role do they play with coaching, but also with diversity and inclusion and equity, because that's what we want to discuss next time. And I hope you will be able, or you would like to join us to explore more of this, because, as I said, I mean, we have Roxana that is a Romanian in Romania. We have you as a Spanish in Romania, and me as a Romanian in Netherlands. So, and we hope that maybe a couple of other people can join us to really bring more perspectives from the cultural aspects related to organizations, and to the relationship with the authority, because I heard a couple of things here, right? So when you were mentioning, I think it is about trust, trust in yourself, trust in the other one, right? The ability to show vulnerability, um, and yeah, then how do you actually foster the relationships, but also the relationship to authority? And those are quite interesting to discuss, especially for the internal coaching and the organizations, because that does play an important role. And if when you actually work in different companies that are they have other headquarters in different, you can see the difference if you work in a company that has headquarters um, maybe in the States, or if it's in Europe, or if it's in Asia. You really, there is an imprint there. And then you go more into, like, how about, I've worked in a company that was in Europe but had the management from the Saudis or from the Middle East. And then how does this play, for the what's happening in the organization and all of those things? And I think that would be quite interesting to explore next time. Vlad, do you wanted to ask something? Because I know you mentioned at some point.
Yeah, actually, uh, there is one thing that if you want to follow up a conversation with you, Eduard, I would love to hear more about this situation that is happening in Romania. If you ask Romanians, most of them will say they would like to immigrate in other countries, in Western Europe, preferably. On the other hand, I see a lot of people from outside Romania coming in Romania and wanted to stay here. And I would like to see a discussion between Alina and Eduard about their experience. One is going out, one is staying in. However, I would want a few short answers from Eduard at a personal level. Uh, where would you recommend someone who is visiting first Romania to go?
This is very easy for me because I'm in Oradea, and Oradea is one of the nicest cities in the country. So I would recommend to come to Oradea. But there are many nice places. I would say I have visited maybe except the south. South I don't know too much, but I have visited the rest of the country, up to Black Sea, up to Bukovina, and so Brasov. there are amazing places in the country. So what I would recommend is, if somebody comes to Romania, don't come for a weekend. Plan 2-3 weeks minimum and visit different places in the country.
Great, thank you.
Good,
And
good. It's
I
starting.
have,
like
I have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say about food, Vlad.
Last
Don't
one.
say about food.
Yeah, right.
No, you see, I saw it on your lips. It's about the food.
Which one? Sorry, I missed the comment, Alina.
Okay. Which is your preferred Romanian food?
My preferred Romanian food. My preferred Romanian
Palinka?
food is, no, I think it's a little bit strong for me. I really love ciorba de burta. I don't know why, but I really love that.
Yes, and now let's challenge Vlad to translate it. So, Vlad, how would you say that in English?
Ciorba, I think it's still good. Okay.
Yeah, Google
Okay.
Translate know that.
No, I think it's like a pork belly sour soup, something like this. I think it's
Tripe soup. I have seen translated tripe soup.
Yes, I think something like this, but
Tripe soup,
you have
yes.
to try it to understand what it is, because it's something very, very specific. And there's plenty of other dishes that are very traditional. And I love how, food is something that connects. Actually, if you think from an organization perspective, if you have a good canteen in an organization, that could be one of the elements that connect people. It's a moment where everybody comes and shares food and strengthen the relationship. So just to circle it back to the organizations and coaching and relationships. And Eduard, I think the last question that I would like to ask you is, what is it that we have not asked you think it's important to share, and you would like to share related to the topic of today?
What we have not discussed today?
Yes. So something that you consider that it is important to be verbalized related to this topic, to be, shared, but we didn't ask you.
You asked me from many possible angles. I don't know which one is would have been missing at this moment.
Take a moment and think which one would be. What would you like to still share that you didn't discuss about when you think of this journey from being a manager and engineer to the coach and to this transition?
I would, and maybe this can help. Yes, this can help other people who are trying to follow this. I would say the challenge is when you are working for some organization and you decide to go by yourself, and many people wants to coach, and they say, okay, I'm going to become a coach, so I quit my job and I go to and I will dedicate myself to coach other people. And which challenges that movement brings. This, I think, this can be useful also for other people. And I was today with one client, and this question came, and the person was saying, but I want to do that. And so the conversation went up to the point where, well, when you leave your organization and you start acting as a professional coach, you have to not only be a coach, you have to run your company. And this is an additional challenge. If you never run your company, you have to learn to run your company. So you have to do your own marketing and sales. You have to hire some support. You have to explore partnerships. So many people think that, no, I'm a coach and that's okay because this is what I love to do. But if you look at your calendar, at your agenda, maybe coaching is not what you do the most because you are running your own company and you need to do many things. So I think this part of a challenge that we didn't discuss and that may help other people who are listening today.
Thank you, Eduard. That is a great point indeed. So if you are to think of changing careers and opening your own practice, like really flying and, after maybe you did an accreditation and doing what you love, that resonates a lot in me because I'm there and you're very right. It is about learning multiple skills. This is what I started to understand. Why did we have so many departments in an organization? Somebody was procuring, somebody was making contracts, we had legal, you had the IT, you had all of this, and then of course it's not the same scale, but you need to do all of those things by yourself or not actually build relationship with other people that have skills into that and make exchanges. And yeah, you're right. Until you set it up as a business and you kind of get to create a structure, then you turn back into, yes, and now I can do coaching. I know my structure, I know what I do. But it is a wonderful journey to discover a lot of things about yourself and learn.
Definitely.
And there's always the possibility of going back to a job if you don't succeed or you don't like it. But there's always plan B, so to speak. Well, I think we've been here for an hour, and of course, it passed by very fast, as usually it does, between Spanish people and Romanian that like to talk. We share this in common, talking about culture. I already mentioned that the next topic that we would like to address, it is, how does the internal coaching supporting the cultural differences and the initiative like the diversity, inclusion, and equity initiative that are in the organizations. As previously we talked on the relationship between coaching and, for instance, change management. And we would love to have you back. We would love to have your experience back. And I think I'm going to give you the floor to kind of close. And let's finish very easy, it's like one word, express one word on how you feel right now. And I will start and I will say energized.
Who wants to continue? Roxana?
I'm searching the word in English. Give me a second. Nostalgic, I think it is the right word. I don't know why hearing your, journey made me nostalgic on my own journey. So,
thank you.
I would say gracias. Me gusta, Eduard.
I didn't know that, Vlad. I didn't know that you speak Spanish.
Only a bit.
Un poquito.
Un poquito. En habla español.
Very good. So I would say thank you very much to all of you for the invitation. My word would be appreciation, because sharing this space with you here is, for me, I'm really thankful to you by inviting me and sharing these moments, and also by continuous inviting me for next session. That's amazing. So thank you very much, Alina and Rosanna, for your hospitality here and for hosting me also for a second time.
Yes, and thank you to the viewers, whoever was with us. We are happy to have you, and maybe next time, if you have any questions, feel free. You can always drop it, on LinkedIn or on Facebook if you have questions or comments. We always appreciate the input and hope you will be joining us on 17th of March, exactly in a month's time, which it so happens that it falls on the same day. So it's the 17th of March for the next conversation. Until then, we wish you days with sun inside and out. And thank you.
And love, because it's the month of love.
Yeah.
Love.
Yay.
Thank you very much.
Dragobete is coming.
It's coming,
Indeed.
yes.
Indeed. So thank you very much and see you next
Thank you
time.
very much to all of you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.